I know you're scared. Yeah, I'd be too. If I were you. I know you're scared. I'd be too. If I were you. You better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. Cause I'm a monster. You better bring your A game. Bring your A game. You better bring your A game. You better bring your A game.
Skull Vikings. What's up, everyone? I'm JJ Vikings with Minnesota Vikings offensive guard Dalton Risner. Welcome to the show, Dalton.
Skull Vikings, baby. Thanks for having me on the show. JJ, you're the man. Happy to be on here. Let's go. Let's do this thing.
Yep. So I'm very happy that you were able to come on. By the way, you're a huge inspiration to me. And I found out that you were born in Branson, Missouri. So do you have any connections and ties with the state of Missouri? And it's pretty close to Minnesota, right?
Yeah, man. It's not too far away. During bye week, we drove down, and my wife's family's from there. So we got to see her family. It's about a 6-hour drive from Minneapolis. And, I was born in the Show Me State. Really lived in Colorado my whole life, man, from when I was like 3 or 4 years old. But I am technically a Missouri guy. That's awesome. You did your research. Not a lot of people know that, buddy.
Yep. Of course, I love to do my research on players and what makes them click. And you seem like an amazing person outside of football. And you also got your education in Kansas State University. Am I correct?
Yes, sir. A communications degree with a couple minors. I did a minor in sports broadcasting, leadership, and coaching as well. And Kansas State was an awesome place. Really grateful for my 5 years there. You also seem like a great young man. I know this wasn't a part of the answer or question, but for your age, JJ, out here doing your thing, grinding, getting guys on your show, being active, I got a lot of respect for it, man. A lot of respect for it.
Well, I have a lot of respect for you, too. You have no idea how jumping with joy I was when I figured out that the Vikings signed you. What a big addition to our team that you are, and very happy that you're with us.
Well, that means a lot, man. It's a whole lot more of Jesus and a lot less of me than people might think.
Yes, I believe it. And what was your college experience like in terms of, so when you were playing football in college, were you an automatic starter, or did you have to sit out for some time and kind of learn the playbook a little bit, or were you already out there playing?
Well, when I first got to Kansas State University, I ended up redshirting my freshman year. Wasn't quite developed coming out of Wiggins High School like I'd hoped, but was completely okay with taking the first year to get a year underneath my belt and grow physically and mentally. After that redshirt year was up, I was a 4-year starter for the Kansas State Wildcats. 1 year was at center, which was my redshirt year. And then the last 3 years where I started, I was actually a right tackle.
Wow. So you played tackle before. I did not know that.
Yes, I was a freshman center for a year. That was cool. That's what I played in high school. And then my last 3 years at Kansas State was a right tackle. So really, I was an All-American tackle in college. The first time I ever played guard was in the NFL.
Okay, that's cool. Well, you've really adapted to it as far as we can tell.
Hey, I appreciate that, man.
And it's an amazing stat because, first of all, I have a question before I get into the statistics and all that. You were drafted in the second round of the 2019 NFL draft, and you were picked number 41. You were picked at number 41 in the draft. So how did the NFL first treat you? And you landed on the Denver Broncos. Did they give you a starting spot immediately, or were you on the bench for a little while?
So everything in this life, as you've probably started to learn, has to be earned. Very few things in this life are given. And usually if they're given, they're not quite worth it. So when I got to the NFL, I really had to earn that job. At the same time, my production in college and being drafted, the Broncos, they drafted me for a reason. They wanted me to play. But I had to earn that job on a blue collar, with a blue collar, gritty coaching staff with Vic Fangio, Mike Munchak, and Chris Cooper, who is now the offensive line coach here with the Minnesota Vikings. But yes, I did become the starter. I wouldn't say they just let me have it. I had to earn it through that first training camp. but I was a 4-year starter for the Broncos. I think I played 62 games in my 4 years there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And earning things in life isn't always easy. It was hard for me at first to understand, like at 10 years old, that I wasn't able to have a YouTube channel yet because I felt like social media was a thing that I couldn't handle yet. It was kind of too bearing or too much of a burden, I should say. But now, it's a lot better for me, and I feel more comfortable behind a camera, and got a lot of experience and a lot of help from my mother. So just grateful for all of it.
Hey, shouting out mom, you got it understood, buddy. You know your stuff.
Yep, thank you so much. And another thing, this time it's about you. So you've allowed 0 sacks on 412 pass blocking snaps for the Minnesota Vikings this season. So you're an amazing blocker for this team. You are elite, and I am so happy, because we signed you coming off the Vikings-Eagles game back in week 2 of the season when we gave up a lot of sacks and there were lots of problems with the running game. So then we went on and we signed you. And I have to ask, were the Vikings really one of those teams that you really wanted to be yeah, I want to go sign with this team?
Yeah, well, I appreciate it, man. Such kind words. Thank you very much. A lot of people have helped me be able to have a great stat like that. And I've been really grateful to be on the Minnesota Vikings this year in my 5th year in the NFL. When it comes to where I wanted to be, I'm going to be real honest with you, JJ. I wanted to be on a team that valued Dalton Risner. When you get to be at my age and you're playing this sport as a professional, it's tough stuff. And at some point, I just wanted a team to value me. I said, you know what? Whatever team that is, whoever wants to value who Dalton Risner is, that's where I want to be. But I will say that I felt like the Minnesota Vikings were one of those teams that did value me. I loved Chris Cooper. I wanted to block next to Christian Darrisaw and Garrett Bradbury. I love the general manager, love the head coach and Kevin O'Connell. Chris Cooper, obviously I mentioned him. Justin Riscotti, Curtis Modkins. A lot of the coaches on this coaching staff I have a lot of respect for, and players. So coming here was a dream come true. I had options. I could have went to numerous teams, and I'm glad I came here.
Yeah, and believe me, the fans are all glad too. We were all hyping you up on Twitter, trying to say, hey, Vikings, Dalton Risner. And the thing that I love about Kwesi and Kevin, it feels like they kind of listened to us. Like they were kind of like, okay, these fans kind of have a point, and nobody seemed to really hype you up other than us, obviously, but no other team really seemed to be as happy to want you as the Vikings did from my perspective. So I feel like Kwesi and Kevin really deserve lots of respect and credit for all the things that they see in players that we don't see in them as fans. So that's off to them. And
well, the Minnesota Vikings fans, you included, have been awesome to me. They've welcomed me with open arms. That's been awesome. Part of this game in the NFL is the ups and downs of the ebbs and flows of this game. But one thing that's been consistent is the love that my wife and I have felt from the Minnesota fan base. So, JJ, if you're saying that the Vikings upstairs listens to you, man, do what you can to get me back. I want to be a Viking again next year, buddy.
Oh, we all want you to be a Viking next year for sure. And you have an amazing family. I saw that video. Your wife and I think it was her parents there too at the Vikings Broncos game. She was hyped up to see you there playing against your former team. And real quick, I have a follow-up question for that. What's it like playing at Mile High? And is the altitude really as high as I was told it is?
For me, I grew up there. Most of my whole life I played there, so I feel like I'm pretty used to it. However, when we came back there this year and played, I definitely felt like it was harder to catch my breath in pregame warmups. When the game got started, I was good. But yeah, you can definitely notice it. I think altitude is a legit thing in terms of the oxygen and the amount that you're breathing in. I do think that it affects teams. I think it affects the kicking game as well. I really wanted to get that win this year against my old team back in the city that I was in for 4 years playing ball. But I've learned that every day just waking up and wearing the purple and gold, and to say I'm in the NFL and starting left guard for the Vikings, man, we can always want more, but I'm sure grateful to be here.
Yep. And I'll repeat it again. We all are. We all are. And I wanted to give my props. I wanted to give my flowers to you for allowing zero QB hurries, zero QB hits, zero pressures, zero sacks against the Lions back in Week 16. That was truly an amazing performance, and you did everything you could to protect Nick Mullins back there.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. Let's go try to do it again this weekend. That's the goal.
Yes, and honestly, I really appreciate the hard work because I can imagine you and your teammates, you guys put your bodies on the line to entertain us fans who probably don't know as much as you guys do, at least about the team in person and stuff like that. So I really have to thank you for that too.
Hey, that really means a lot. At the same time, JJ, that's our job. That's something that we're expected to do. We got to put our bodies on the line. That's what we signed up for. We get taken care of in order to do so by the Minnesota Vikings and the NFL. So it gets hard. It's a hard job. There's a lot required, a lot of pressure. But when we sign that pen and paper on that contract, that's what we say we're willing to do, man.
Oh yeah, I mean look at T.J. Hawkinson, all the hits he's been taking.
Yep.
Truly disappointed that he can't play for the rest of the season. Very unfortunate loss for us, and we could really see in these past couple of games how that really affected us, and hope he can come back strong next season. What I have to ask you is, what is the Minnesota Vikings atmosphere like to you, from your perspective, not mine? The fans and all that, like the horns blowing, just all that.
The fans, the skull chant, U.S. Bank Stadium. Amazing. The vibes are there. Better vibes than I can ever imagine. I always tell everybody before I got here to Minnesota, when everyone asked me the coolest stadium to play at, the hardest stadium to play at, most of the times I either said Arrowhead in Kansas City or U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. I played here my rookie year, and it was not fun, man. That skull chant is intimidating. Everything about it. The place is just – it's stinking awesome. So I can't say enough good things about the environment, the culture from the top down with the Minnesota Vikings at TCO headquarters is the best culture I've been around. That starts with Quasey, that goes to the owners with the Wilfs, to Kevin O'Connell, to Wes Phillips, to Chris Cooper, to everyone on down, man, with the players. I've always said this is one of the best things about Minnesota. And this is one of the best things about the players on the team. There are average players in the NFL. There's good players. There's great players. And there's elite players. I consider myself a good player. But there's some players on our team that are elite. And the elite players, Kirk Cousins, Danielle Hunter, Justin Jefferson, those guys are extremely humble. Those guys have great character. They show up and they go to work. They're good teammates. They're kind to other people. They don't act too good for anybody. That's what makes the Minnesota Vikings such a special team, is the top, the upstairs guys making the big decisions. They're deciding to bring guys in and draft guys like Justin Jefferson. They're keeping guys around like T.J. Hawkinson and Danielle Hunter. I hope they keep Kirk Cousins around. I could go on and on. I think that's been one of the huge things that the Minnesota Vikings have done well.
Yes, definitely. And what was your reaction when the Minnesota Vikings first signed you?
Man, it was let's get to work, man. I was in a extended free agency period where I wasn't on a football team to start the season after being a 4-year starter in Denver. I could have been on a team, but I was being stubborn because I felt like my worth was more than what teams were talking to me with. So I kind of decided to hold out. So when I finally got the opportunity to get on a ball club for a fair deal, in my opinion, I was excited to get to work, man. I wanted to get here. I wanted to earn the respect of the teammates, the coaches, the staff, the fan base, and become the starter for the Minnesota Vikings and kick ass and play some football. And I find myself in January as the starting left guard playing good football for the Vikings, and it's a dream come true. It's a blessing from the Lord. I'm really grateful to be where I'm at, and I hope that this good dream that I'm in, it can continue next year as well.
That's amazing. And now two things. So first of all, the first part, I do remember your wife saying that, like she notices that in Minnesota, like all the players are just happy to be there. Like she said like that's like it's like a vibe, and she also said that the Lord has you guys in Minnesota for a reason, and I think He does. Considering the way you've been playing for us. And what I do have to say is you have like your time on the Broncos. You played right guard for them, right?
No, left guard, left guard.
Oh wow! So have you ever had experience playing right guard before?
I haven't played right guard in a football game, but I'd feel more than comfortable to do so. And if you're talking high school, college, and the NFL, I have played every position but right guard in an actual game. However, I practiced at right guard numerous times, and I feel good to do that if I need that to do that.
Yes, and I also remember that you actually practiced at right guard a week or two after we signed you. So,
Yep.
what you're saying about you feeling comfortable doing it, I'm glad because you never know when the guy's going to go down. You never know when it's going to be your time to shine. You never know when it's going to be next man up mentality. Because not all players on the bench are going to be on the bench forever. They will have their name called up. I mean, look at Josh Dobbs in week 9 against the Falcons. He did not know, like he didn't even know half the players on the team. And I'm pretty sure you guys didn't really know his cadences all that much. Like he had to practice on the sideline, and I'm pretty sure that he had to learn at least like 1/10 of the playbook during commercial break probably. Like it was that tight. It was that there was that much adversity, and you guys stepped up right through it. And that was another one of your best games, by the way, against the Falcons. So you're putting up numbers and really making sure that the quarterbacks behind you are protected and safe.
Yeah, man, that's the goal. That's what we signed up to do in the NFL. It's a next man up mentality. When you're called upon, can you be ready? No one's going to coddle you. No one's going to hold your hand through it. You got to be a grown man. You got to go out there and go to work. And through the good performances and through the bad performance, I remember what matters, and that's that Jesus Christ is my Savior and that He loves me, and that football doesn't define me. But with that being said, I sure am grateful to be playing this game. I want to play it as long as I can and help the Minnesota Vikings win games, man. So let's do it. I'm full skull, purple and gold, baby.
Me too. And is there anything in about the team that we don't know about? Like, as in, like, are there any kinds of fun things and celebrations that you guys do in the locker room after wins, and just kind of stuff that we fans won't really know about that much?
The offensive line drinks Starbucks coffee every Friday together in our early 7 a.m. meeting. So we always do that. We always eat donuts together on Saturday morning. And the whole team always gets some Chipotle on away games before we get on the plane to go play.
That's nice.
Yeah, a few food inside things there for you.
And who leads the celebrations? Because I know Najee Thompson does it on defense, but like overall, who would you see as the celebration leader on the Vikings?
I think Justin Jefferson is the celebration leader. I mean, I think his is the best celebration, and I think everyone kind of feeds off of his energy. I'm gonna be honest with you, JJ. I'm an offensive lineman. You know me. I don't care too much about the celebrations. I just want to get in the end zone and then go sit down and catch my breath, brother. And I got to get ready to go for field goal to hold up so Greg Joseph can put the extra point through. So I think you got to talk to one of the skill guys about celebrations, man. Us O linemen were kind of boring.
No, you will. When we all see an O lineman doing a celebration, though, like we all get happy, we all get excited. So, ever since I kind of learned to analyze the NFL and not just watch it, I've seen that I've learned how really resourceful and valuable O linemen really are.
Heck yeah, bro! I sure appreciate that, man. Yep, thank you, sir. But yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I love being an offensive lineman. Being an offensive lineman isn't the easiest job in the world. It's not one of those jobs you get a lot of credit for. It's one of those jobs where if you're not getting your name called, that's a good thing. You don't want to get called for a flag. You don't want to get called for a sack. You just want to show up, do your job, let Justin Jefferson get all the hype, and Kirk Cousins and Nick Mullins and TJ Hawkinson. If those guys are getting love, that means that you're doing what you're supposed to up front. So it's a great job. It's a selfless job. And it requires a lot of physical and mental strength. So I'm definitely proud of it.
Yep. And we're all proud of you too. We're all proud of the way you've been playing ever since you were signed on, and it's just amazing. And I have to say, are there any offensive linemen or NFL players to this that are still playing that inspire you, and any former NFL players that still inspire you too?
You know, JJ, I've mentioned it a few times on here, buddy. I also want to say thank you very much for having me on. It does mean a lot to me. Thank you for your love and support, buddy. I'm glad that we got connected to be able to be on here together. It's going to be a memory for me for a long time. This might have to be one of my last questions. I'm going to have to get back to work. But one of the people that I look up to that's still in the NFL, for me, I'm one of those guys that Jesus is going to always and constantly be my role model. But Kirk Cousins, the type of man he is, the way he carries himself on the Minnesota Vikings team, with the amount of years he's been in the league, would definitely be a guy I look up to. But the guy in the past that I always loved was Tim Tebow. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He wore Jesus on his sleeve, showed love to Jesus openly in the public without a worry in the world. So those would be two guys that I look up to a lot.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Jesus definitely loves us, and I have to give my glory to him for all the success that I've been having, all the players that I've been connecting to, including you. So it's amazing where he's led us, and how
Amen.
life leads us as well. So,
well, what you've done is really incredible, buddy. Like I said, you're hustling, you're doing your thing. God is blessing you at the same time. You're working really hard. You're being a professional at a young age. I hope here in 10 years you're the lead guy for ESPN on every game day, and you're the number one podcast and show that people want to get onto. And I hope me coming on here can help you get some more followers and more attention around what you're doing.
yeah, my dream is to be on the Vikings, like to work for the Vikings, to be part of their media team. Like they have so many great media team people. You know, Gabe Henderson, Tatum Everett, Paul Allen, Ron Johnson, Ben Lieber, Pete Bursich. Hope I pronounced that name right. But another one of those great guys on the team. And
I'll
last
put in
thing,
a good word.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Quasey and Kevin as well. But I also have to ask, is your Risner Up Foundation, do you still is that foundation still, do you still have that? Because I like that foundation.
I most definitely do. The Risner Up Foundation is so incredibly important to me. I created it whenever I was in college. It's a 501(c) nonprofit geared towards making an impact, a positive impact in this world. That could be the smallest of gestures to the biggest of gestures. And that's always been something that's been more important to me than football. I say more important because the impact we have on people's lives, the ability to help people in this world, is so much more important than something that we do on Sundays. There's a lot of people in this world that need help. There's a lot of people in this world that need a helping hand with groceries, with their families, whatever it may be. And that hits home to me. I come from a family that didn't have a lot growing up. And yeah, the Rising Up Foundation means a lot to me. You can follow us at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at the Rising Up Foundation. You can go to risingup.org to see more, what we've been up to, how to get involved, the whole deal. I'm very, very proud of that. So thanks for asking, buddy.
Yeah, and then two more questions. So so what would you like to do? What do you like to do during your free time in the off season?
One, I like to hang out with my wife. I really enjoy that. She's my best friend. I like to eat a lot of food. I love food. As you can tell, I know I'm really skinny, but I like food. And then my third one, man, would just be travel with friends and family, make memories, enjoy each other.
Yep, and then the last question. So, what do you like most about the sport of football?
The thing I like most about the sport of football is how much it challenges you. We're all searching for purpose in this world. I think sometimes we search for it outside of our faith. But for me, after my faith, I still like to push myself and find out what I'm all about. And this game of football will help you realize and find out who you are, for better or for worse. It will mold you. It'll beat you down to your knees if you let it, but you got to keep standing up. And it'll mold you into being a great man, a great person, whether that's mentally or physically. I've always loved that about the game of football. And you get to continue to compete. I get to compete at the highest level against some of the best athletes in the world, and I take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. You're a big inspiration to me and to everyone watching. And I just wanted to thank you again. And I wish the best of luck for you guys for the rest of the season, and hope the Vikings bring you back, re-sign you, and I hope that we can get the Vikings crew more successful next season. And I wanted to wish you a happy New Year and God bless you. Skull Vikings.
JJ, God bless you. Skull, make sure to tag me when you post this, my man. Whatever little clips you post, tag me. I'm going to continue to let the world know who JJ is. All right, big dog?
Thank you so much.
God bless you, brother. I got to go. See you later.
Skull.
Skull.